Hi guys, Emma again. Welcome back to the spare room. It's been a fairly full-on week here and I've been scratching paint, I guess. Everyone's seen that many machine restorations on YouTube in the last little while, that another in-depth video of someone using paint stripper and sand and paint is really a bit superfluous, I think. So I've stripped all these off and got into them with a bit of 360 wet and dry, and then a bit of 800 wet and dry in a bowl of hot water with some dish soap, and these are coming up nice and smooth and good. That's the bed. Give you some ideas, fairly basic little casting, but this is painted all over. The bedways are all pretty good. But if you have a look at this, with the headstock, there's that much movement in it, and it's a pretty simple thing really. Basically it's lined up by eye, and because we're only turning between centres with it and there's no actual cross slide or anything else, it doesn't have to be a whole lot better than that. So that's how that is. There's a few little things that need some work. We've cleaned this up, which is down to the same 800 wet and dry. If we have a look, a couple of little sharp edges there, and one there that sticks out there. I'm going to file that off. We've got this piece here, and this is supposed to sit in here, and it doesn't really. It's a bit ugly. There's a little bit of flashing still in there that's been in there since the day it was made, I guess. Otherwise it'd slide in. So what I'm going to do is clean that slot out so that that fits nice, and so we can bolt that up properly. Still got to clean that hole out, and a few others. Now this hasn't got a lot of wobble in it when we finally get round to adjusting it up properly. That's plenty good enough. And this was missing a bolt on this side. If we have a look here, it was missing a nut on this side. The way this works, this flywheel is probably the heaviest bit of the whole lot. It's pretty solid actually. It weighs probably 5 kilo. This cast, we've given that a good clean up too. This pin here's got a, if we have a look, it's got a little dowel sticking out here, or a piece cast into it, which is half missing because it's been loose. And this is a matching piece in this hole here, so when that goes together with that at the bottom, that'll tighten up and be nice and firm and pretty good. So with that in the right place, there's no wobble in the flywheel, which is great. There's a couple of little jobs to do. This is the rod that goes through the middle, and it's a pretty ugly thing. I reckon that this has probably been, to be honest, it's been sitting on a dirt floor in a puddle of water, and the bottom 4 inches of this is pretty rusted out, so whether we might put a bit of filler in that. So most of the bits I've got a couple of good coats of undercoat on with a brush, and there's only one way to paint things if you're going to paint them, and that's properly. You might as well not mess around and do anything if you're just going to go half-hearted about it. So next job's plenty of hot soapy water and some fine wet and dry. Just get rid of the runs and the high spots. What we're looking for is silky smooth. And we get the brush marks out, and if there's still any marks in there when it's down, we'll have another go. But that's starting to come up really nice. That's the headstock. put him outside in the sun. It's the first really nice sunny day we've had for a while to get things clean, which is nice. So I've been watching Bundy Bear Shed, the Lance Maskill up in Bundaberg, north of here, about 3 or 4 hours, something like that. He's building a little hit and miss engine. It's only tiny, nice cast iron castings, everything's coming together nice by the look of it. He gets in and has a bit of a go at that occasionally, so worth following along. He has a really good mechanical and restoration video log up there every week. Well worth a look, better than regular TV. He's a decent guy. Just jump on his channel and follow him. Now this is slowly starting to come together. This is the bed. We've still got a little bit of a run there, just by that hole. But I think that's got it. This has been sitting with a bit of water in it outside, I think, and I don't know if you can see that, but right through here it's all pock-marked, and shiny paint on that you're going to be able to see it. So I'm going to put some filler in there. There's nothing actually slides on that surface really, so it needs to be painted. But I've got some 2-part filler there, some bog to go in there, and I'll do that once this is dry. We'll just make sure we've got all the runs out of this. It's starting to look alright. There's a few dents and hollows in there that could do with a bit too. So here's a trick I guess most people know. I've got the first layer of filler in there. You can still see it's a bit low in places. But what I've done is just got a contrasting colour with the rattle can. And gave it a squirt and let it dry. We're just going to go over and sand most of that off, and that'll show us the low spots and the high spots. There's the low spot, and there. So we'll get in and get this so that there's not a lot of this paint left on it, and we'll put some more filler in the low spots and do the process again and see how it looks then. And when we've done that, we can start to realise what a rough old casting we've got. There's high spots and low spots all the way along. There's quite a lot of rippling rust pits through here, and down the side here where the water's been sitting. This side's not quite so bad. We've got a low spot in there. It looks like we've got that pretty much. There's still a big low spot in there. We might give that a bit more of a scrub up and just see if we can find out what it's in there, because it seems a pity just to rush the job when you could do it properly. So we're going to take a bit of time and get this right. And there we go, that's silky smooth. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's really nice through there, not too many brush marks left in. It's time for a coat of top coat. I'm just going to paint it with a good decent lacquer black, or maybe even enamel, depending on what I can get. Something I can put a clear coat on the top of though, and I'm pretty pleased about that. I've been doing a similar job on these, and we're getting there. It's a slow process, and there's a fair bit of work in these because they are pretty rough actually, especially this much of the bottom. but it's starting to come up, and once we get them all undercoated and up to that sort of standard, we'll start to look at putting some black on. Because I'm using this black enamel that's taken 16-18 hours to dry between coats, I can't do a whole lot as far as sanding or machine work. So I'm going to call this a wrap on this video. It's really a labour of love, and there's a bit of work in it, and this is nearly ready to, when this dries now, for the weekend to start bolting some of this up, to bolt the bed to the legs and the headstock on too, and we can start thinking about putting a top coat on all over, and we'll be getting very close to finished with the paint. I'm going to call that a wrap now, and I'll upload this and we'll keep going with a bit more. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, all that sort of stuff. More soon.